Good morning and welcome to Friday the 20th of August. It's a beautiful day and today I've taken the day off because I've got tickets to go to Crick boat show. It's about 10:30. I was in no rush. I know it's open till 6. I'm aiming to get there for about dinner time. It's about an hour's drive, so I'm not rushing. And Mrs. going to sleep in the back of my van, and we're going to have a few hours at Crick, have a look around, get a little bit of footage hopefully for this next week's vlog, and see what kind of boats are up for sale and what services are on offer, and obviously what accessories are available. So I'll try and get a little bit of everything for you. I'm not going to film the trip down because it's an hour, but we'll try and get a bit of footage when we get there. So I'll talk to you in a little while. Sun shining, lovely day. Well, it's about 11:30. We've made it to the show. Misty's just had a bit of dinner in a collapsible bowl that she had for Christmas. She's still looking for more. And we're just going to let her cool down a bit because she's getting herself all worked up. And then we'll have a walk around and have a look at what's on offer.
Favourite boat in the show, which is sponsored by Hayden Knox Johnston. The Favourite Boat in the Show award is a tradition at the Crick Boat Show. The competition is sponsored by Hayden Knox Johnston, and for this year's show there will be a single trophy for the boat receiving the most votes from visitors.
Well, we've had a good look round. There's been plenty of interesting stalls, picked up a lot of leaflets. For obvious reasons, I don't think for 1 minute this is as busy a show as it's been in the past, and there's definitely less boats, new boats on display to what they used to be. But bearing in mind we've just come out of, we're going through this pandemic, I don't suppose that's a bad thing. So I'm going to make my way back to Mercia, get myself some tea, and get Misty out on the field. She's been pretty damn good. She's had her ice lollies, you've seen, and I've just given her a drink, and now she's settled down in the back of my van with the air conditioning on. So I'll catch up with you a bit later in this vlog. So now we're going to 55-mile trip back to Mercia. See you in a bit. Now, one of the things that I do give credit to Mercia for, although a little bit bemused as to why, they are installing what initially I thought was torture equipment for the moorers who hadn't paid their fees on time. And then I did wonder whether or not the Royal Marines were coming to attempt the assault course here, but I've been reliably assured that this is an exercise fitness centre for all us moorers. So that being so, I've ordered my shorts, running trainers and running vest, and once all the tapes have been taken down and the equipment is deemed safe, I'll be one of the first to be attacking this assault course. And my motivation obviously will be 2 cans of cider perched somewhere on top of this contraption here, and I'm going to start at the bottom, and I estimate about half a day to get up here and the rest of the day to drink my cider. Now, strangely enough, I did come and do a little bit of videoing of this. You will have seen in one of my previous vlogs that I made mention to the swings. Now, strangely enough, the other night I came out, and I like to bring the camera with me on my phone so I can capture things, and there was a young couple, mid-20s, swinging away on here, and I politely said to them, would you mind if I just took a little bit of a video of you? And the young girl says, yeah, that should be fine. What's it for? And I says, well, I'm doing a bit of a vlog this next week, and I want to include Mercia swingers. She looked at her partner and left hurriedly, so I never got the footage. Not quite sure if it was something I said. Oh well, I'm sure I'll catch somebody else. So this piece of equipment, by the looks of it, you hang on the rope and you run like a mouse on a wheel. Not quite sure many of us will be doing that. And then here, these are what I assume are hand hanging rails that you walk your way across using your hands, or hang yourself across using your hands. Yeah, I might have to give that one a miss. And then we've got the stilts. Well, I won't be walking with them because they're stuck in the ground, but I think I get the idea of what you're supposed to do. Then there's a wall of blocks there at different heights to balance and cross, and another row of very similar there. This will be great for kids, absolutely great for kids. Then we've got a wall here that you have to climb up and over. Not 100% sure what all these crossbars will be taken down eventually when the concrete's set. Not 100% sure what's going to happen there between when they take all the braces off. And then we've got the hanging and chin bars, are they, where you pull yourself up on. And the 3 steps to nowhere. Again, I'm not quite sure if you're supposed to just run and jump off the end on. I can see 1 or 2 broken hips this next winter going into the Derby Royal Hospital. And then the great design. Let's have a zigzag walking beam with a round top, when the average age of a moor, I should imagine, has got to be at least 65. So again, I can see hip replacements written all over that one. And then we've got another wall that I imagine, again, I don't know whether you run up and over it or whether you step up and over it, whichever way you're going to get over it, but one way or other it'll burn off a few calories. But you've got to give them credit, they've had thought about adding something. Now, I'm not sure if this will be taken up by most of the moorers. I doubt it very much from the ones I've already spoken to, but I do think that for the holiday lets, when the families bring the kids will absolutely love it. But like I say, maybe if I start here and work my way up the hill, past the swings to the final wall that you climb over, I'm pretty sure if I can put a couple of cans of cider on the top, I should make it. What do you reckon? Good morning and welcome to a slightly damp Sunday from Misty Marina. Well, we've had some bloody rain at night. I got to bed last night. I went to bed about 10:15. I was feeling quite tired. So I said to Misty, that's it, I'm going to bed. There's no on telly. And wide awake at 1 o'clock, like 8 minutes past 1, with the rain thundering around us, and there was thunder and lightning. So I thought I'll get up and have a cup of tea, and I watched a bit of what do you call it? They call it extreme engineering on Channel Quest or whatever it is, about oil tankers for half an hour, and then went back to bed and slept like a baby. So I've had a bit of a lie-in, and I've just put, well, 8 o'clock I put a load of washing in, as you do, and I'm going out in a bit with Callum, and I'm going to B&Q for something quite long, which I'll show you when I get it. And rest of today I've got water tank to fill. I'm intending to fill it a little bit more often now and do my own laundry, I suppose, because that'll use a drop. And general tidy up on the boat, make sure I have my dinner, and I'm going to the chandlery to get a couple of items which I intend fitting tomorrow. I'm only going to get one of each, and if that fit goes all right, then I'm going to be buying 4 of one and 2 of the other, and try and get them all fitted on Monday/Tuesday. And I'm going to video that for the vlog, so you'll see what I'm talking about. Have you had a chance to try a steak yet? Did you watch the vlog? If so, do try the steak. If you haven't watched the vlog, watch it and then try the steak. I tell you, you'll absolutely love it. If you don't rush it and you take your time, and you leave it to soak a little bit longer than I've told you in the vlog, because I was rushing it because it was for my tea, you really will enjoy it. Guarantee it, absolutely guarantee it. Not a lot to tell you. I've got 1 or 2 things. I'm at work on Wednesday, so I've got to get my act together, because I normally do my vlog work on a Monday/Tuesday, and then I edit it all on a Wednesday and then upload it to YouTube on a Thursday. Gives my daughter then 48 hours to do all her bits on it before it goes live. Well, as I'm at work on Wednesday, I've really got to get it all done tomorrow, and or I've got to start editing it tonight, so it might just be a very short vlog, I don't know. Are you keeping all right? Hey, you keeping safe? Most people seem to be now just walking around with no masks on, and definitely loads of people definitely not sanitising, although I still do. I went to the boat show Friday. Bit disappointing in a way, but then you've got to expect it wasn't going to be as busy as when I went 5 years ago. I think there's just one wide beam and one narrow boat, brand new ones, on the hard standing. When I've been in the past, there's been more boats for you to, you know, physically look at on hard standing. There's quite a few in the marina that were up for sale, but again, I don't think anywhere near as many as in the past, but again, that's got to be expected. And I don't think there was as many exhibitors. There could have been. It could be just my memory playing tricks. But what was there was okay. I met Anne Flood there. She's out on the with her husband at the moment, cruising. And it was just nice to bump into somebody from Mercia. And Mercia Marina had a stand there, you know, encouraging people to come and live in this idyllic place. So that's got to be good. So I'm not going to rabbit, because I've got to go to B&Q. And I'll catch up with you hopefully sometime tomorrow or Tuesday, and I'll update you on what I've been on with. So until then, you know the routine. If you're at home, stay safe. If you're at work, unlike me, be productive. But most of all, stay safe, look after yourselves, and try and get out if it's not raining, and enjoy a bit of what's remaining of summer. Talk to you tomorrow. Ta-da. Good afternoon and welcome to Sunday the 22nd of August. Having a bit of a lazy kind of day. This is our midday walk and roll, obviously, for Misty. I've been this morning to the local B&Q and bought a banister rail, which is about just over 12 foot long. My good neighbour Callum's taken me down in his truck because it was too long for it to go in my van, and that's another little job I've got to sort. I'm going to paint it the same colours as the roof, cream and black, and that will become a very heavy duty barge pole. Freedom's some 34 tonne, and I'm just thinking, if I'm out on a river and I get stuck on a sandbank or on a shallow somewhere, having a good hefty pole of that length just might mean I can get myself out of trouble. Can't believe I've just paid £59 for a lump of wood, but I'm guessing that if I get stuck somewhere, it'll be classed as a good investment. So we're just having an afternoon walk, and then I'm going to go back to the boat, and I'm going to debate whether I'm going to have a nap or I'm going to give this pole its first coat of paint. But it's a lovely day. I thought it was going to chuck it down. There's one or two, if you look up there, there's a few dark clouds. It's not a bad day. So we'll see what the afternoon brings. Catch up with you in a bit. Just coming back in from our walk, and I just thought I'd update you a little bit about Misty. When I went to the Crick boat show on Friday, I spoke to Anne Flood, who was a neighbour of ours who's out at the moment on the water, has been for about 7 or 8 weeks now. And when we got the usual bit of banter out of the way, she looked at Misty and said, she's banging a few pounds on. And she's not the first person to say it, so I thought, well, yesterday I took her into Pets at Home and got her weighed, and according to the Kennel Club, she needs to be, at her age and the fact that she's not been neutered, between 25 and 31 kilo, and bless her, she's topped the scales at 36.4. So I've decided a whole new regime for the next 4 weeks before I have her re-weighed, and I'm removing biscuit from her diet, and I'm replacing it with vegetables, steamed vegetables. And I've learned that when I've been giving her the sardines in sunflower oil, which I thought was going to be good for her, that the oil being sunflower oil isn't that good. The sardines are fine, but not with the oil, so I've now got to give her less of the sardines on a sort of like every other day kind of basis, and I've got to drain the oil out of them. And I'm hoping in a month that I can see her coming down to my desired weight for her, which is going to be 29 kilos. So bless her, not very happy, because now when I have my tea and toast in the morning, I have to lock her in the bedroom, otherwise she'll sit there begging. But as you can see, she's got quite a broad back at the moment. I don't want her to be too skinny, but at the same time, for her own health, she needs to lose 7.4 kilos, hopefully in a month. So we'll see how we go. We'll have another look at her on Sunday next week and see if you can spot the difference. Hopefully so. Well, what day is it? It's Sunday the 22nd of August, and it's about 7 o'clock at night. And I've just remembered I haven't yet opened these 2 parcels that's come this week. Now both of these are for jobs that I now intend to do on board Freedom. I'm not going to go into detail at the moment what they are, but I'm going to show you the items, and then you can try and work out, before we get to that part of this vlog, exactly what my plans are. So we'll start with this little one, and the clue is, with this one, it'll be, hopefully, it should be a step in the right direction. Or it could be a stairway to disaster. Now I need to put my glasses on. I don't know where I put them, or in my pocket, if I can see what I'm doing. And in here, I don't know if you can see these on the camera very well. These are self-tapping drill bits, so that might give you a little bit of a clue. I'm also going to be needing, just in case, a set of punches, possibly some 5mm drill bits. These are steel drill bits, and either 4mm or 4.5. And just in case everything goes wrong, as a backup, one of these, which most of you will know is a tap and die set. So before we get to that bit of the vlog, I've given you the clues. See if you can work out what that one's all about. Now this one, actually I thought was lost in the post, but it did eventually arrive. And I've got a specific job for this. No rude suggestions. But again, see if you can work out what I'm going to do with this big boy. I'm going to need that. I'm going to need that on there, and that on there, and this piece of pipe. And it's got measures on it. So see if you can work out exactly what I aim to do with this bit of kit. And I'll show you later on. Right, this is another scary day because again it involves drilling holes in my boat. And one of the things I've always planned to do, and today's going to be the start of that, is I'm going to fit folding steps on the side of Freedom. When I bought the boat, I've still got them. Jeff had made a section of aluminium ladder, and I think I've shown it in an earlier vlog, that hangs on the handrail, and you can use that to climb up on the roof, and very, very handy. But when I'm out on the water, I really don't want that hanging on the side of my boat, especially if I forget and it's on bankside and I go to bed. It's going to be a temptation for people to climb on the boat. And I know I can hang it on the other side, but if you forget, that's what I'm saying, you know, that'll be the first time you forget. That's when somebody will be on top of the boat when they've had a few pints and think it's funny running on your boat. So the idea of these folding steps is, if you're not a boater, the chances are when people see them, they'll think it's what you hang a rope on. They'll not realise it's a step. So I'm going to fit 4 of these, and when they're on the boat, that's what you'll see. When you want to climb on, you just put the step down, put your foot on, and you can lift yourself up onto the roof. So today it involves drilling 2 holes in my boat, bit of sealant. I've got to tap out the hole so it can have a thread in it, and I'm going to just do the one today, and if it goes okay, then tomorrow I'm going to do the other 3, because I'm putting 2 at the front, 2 at the back. And I've got to leave in a bit to take one of my fellow boaters' dogs into work, because he's been put to sleep, bless him, about 12:30. So it's going to break the day up a bit. I might get to the chandlery and get the others bought, but I won't be fitting them till tomorrow. But I'm just going to show you the basics of what I'm going to do today, and then we'll see how it goes. Okay, so let me just show you my neighbour's boat. That's how it should look. And on this one, I intend fitting it, so if I get my hands in the way, somewhere on this section here. So when it folds up, it should be in line with the 2 black lines. So I'm going to put some masking tape on, do some measuring, and then set to and drill a couple of holes. I'm not going to risk putting the camera on the pontoon and knocking it in the water, so I'll just show you it stage by stage. Okay, so what I've done, I've actually put some masking tape on the area I'm going to be drilling, and that little black mark is 17 inches from the actual gunnel itself, and that will be hopefully then the bottom of where the step is actually going to go. And I can just offer this up at that height, and with a marker pen just mark the 2 holes where they are, and then I can start drilling. I'll just show you a close-up of this drill bit, and as you can see, the very tip of it is a high-speed metal drill, and then about 1/4 of an inch up you've got the actual tap that taps the hole in. But then I am finishing it with this tap and die set, just to ensure I get as clean of threads as I can. So I've already done 1 hole, I'm going to do the other, and then let's see if it all works and get this step fitted. 4. Right, well that's the scary bit done. The 2 holes are drilled and tapped. And the thing to remember is always keep lubricating your drill bit so it doesn't get hot. Don't rush it, take your time. And when you start actually tapping the thread into the hole, do a couple of turns in, a couple of turns back, ease it and keep lubricating the actual tap that's cutting the threads. So I've just tried the screw and it seems to be fitting fine. So I'm going to fasten the step on and then I'm going to wash this side of the boat down, or this area, and let's see what the end result looks like. Now what I have done, before I fit the step up to the side of the boat, I've just put a very thin layer, it doesn't need a load, of pliable sealant, just in case there's any water ingress off the side of the boat. It'll stop it going into the thread holes and keeps everything nice and watertight around the holes that I've just placed in the side of my boat. I'm going to get this screwed on and let's see what it looks like. Oh. And there we have it, all fitted and sealed. Nice and easy to use. I'm just going to set the camera up on the tripod on the pontoon and then you can see how we actually use these folding steps on a daily basis. Good morning and welcome to Tuesday the 24th of August. As you'll have seen already in the vlog, yesterday I did manage to get the two nice and shiny folding steps on the side, on the port side of Freedom. My day was interrupted unfortunately because I had to take a pet in and into work, and work always comes first as far as I'm concerned. And so today I'm going to finish the port side, and the steps and the other job I've got to do on the starboard side, I'm going to do that on Sunday. I'm not going to video it because once you've seen it on one side it's exactly the same. So two jobs to do today, the first of which is to fit this, which is called an edging cleat, onto the side of Freedom, and it's going to go basically directly opposite where the centre line fits on the boat. And this is there so that the centre line, when you're mooring up, will come through the cleat, and when it's on the side of the boat, as the rope's coming, if I'm in the middle of the boat and the rope's coming from me towards you on the camera now, as it drapes over the side of the boat, this edge is here to stop the rope rubbing the paint off the leading edge of your boat. So this is held on with 3 screws. I've got to drill the roof, and I was looking at this last night with my neighbour Callum, and it's quite close to the edge where the roof and the edge join, and I'm not 100% sure whether I'm drilling into the 15mm of the roof or if the roof 15mm thickness is actually on top of the side plate. I don't quite know whether to put it up to it or over it, and I've got to be very careful because I'm using 16mm in length, 5mm width screws, and I don't think that, as with the steps I was drilling through the side of the boat, well this time I think I'm going to be drilling straight down into steel, so I'm not going to actually punch a hole through. I'm just going to have to gauge the 16mm so that when I come to screw these down, the screws actually sit nice and snug. And as with the side steps, before I fit, I'm going to just run a little bit of sealant around just to stop any water ingress getting around the threads on the screws and rotting them into the roof. So without any further ado, I'm going to go and drill 3 holes. I think what I'll do, I'm going to, because it's a miserable day, I'm just going to spin you around, open the front cover, and you can watch from a distance while I do this, the actual drilling, and then I'll bring you a bit closer when I come to screw it in place. So give me a few minutes and we'll get cracking. Note to myself: when you're planning on drilling 3 holes in your roof, make sure you charge the batteries up on your drill first. So I'm now going to move on to task 2 while my batteries recharge. Schoolboy error, but there again, I never said I was very good at DIY. Let me get my equipment together and I'll show you task 2. Right, well, you'll have remembered my stick from earlier in the vlog last week, and I'm going to use this today because what I want to do, I'm going to use this syringe I've bought came off of Amazon. It's a bit bigger than I thought it was actually, but the idea is I'm going to fasten this pipe in 2 different places on the stick. First of all, I'm going to tape it so it's about 3 inches off the bottom of the tank when I put the stick in. I'm going to draw a sample of the diesel into this and then place it into the jar. And then I'm going to untape the hose and put it up to where the wet line will be when I dip the tank in a minute, and it'll be about 2 inches below that wet line. And the idea of it is I don't want to go to the very bottom, because obviously there could be crud in the bottom of the tank and I don't want that in the pipe. I just want to get a basic sample of what the bottom area of the tank is like. And likewise, I'm going to move the hose back up, because if there is water in the tank, that'll be floating on the top of the diesel. So I'm going to position it at roughly, I think the wet line is going to be somewhere around here. I might just put the hose at a 1/4 tank and again draw a second sample, put both samples in this jar, and then I'm going to leave it for an hour and then maybe 2 hours and have a look to see the results. And it'll give me an indication what the quality of the fuel is, whether it's badly contaminated, if it's got a lot of water in it. I did treat the tank with diesel bulk treatment, so it'll just be interesting, and it's worth knowing what condition your fuel's in. So I'm going to get this all set up, and I'll take you with me while I do the test. Right, that's the pipe taped onto the stick. I'm now going to take you out and we'll do the actual drawing off of fuel into the jar, and I'm looking forward to the results. Let's go and get it sorted. Now I can see that the ropes are in the way of the camera a bit, but it's not going to stop us doing what we need to do. Just drop the stick in. Stick's on the bottom of the tank. And there's the fluid coming up. It doesn't look very good, to be honest. I'll take about 150 mil. No, I'll take 100 mil, I think. And then I'll take 100 mil from further up the tank. Yeah, 100 mil. I'm going to put this into the jar, being careful I don't spill any in the marina, and then we'll take a second reading. So, let's pop the stick in, and we'll put the diesel into the jar. That's the first 100 mil. I've used a cloth under the stick when I took it out of the tank. And again, there's a cloth here just to keep any risk of spillage. Don't want it going into the marina. Now while I do the second, just put the lid on there. And then what we're going to do now is I'm going to move the it's about there on the wet line. So I'm going to put the pipe now just above the 1/4 tank line, and we'll take a second sample. So we'll just cut that off of there a minute. In fact, I can leave the top one, I think. All we need to do is get the bottom bit off. Right, with everything I do, it's very high tech. Well, not really. Can I get that on there without having to? Yeah. Put that on there. No, I want to. I'm being lazy. Let's do it proper. Making sure I don't cut the pipe. That wouldn't be very good. I've done that. Okay. One thing with diesel is it's very greasy, so you have to watch what you're doing on your tape, or else it won't stick on. And we're now going to put it roughly on the quarter tank line, because I know I've got fuel at that height. Just put another bit round just to keep it easy to go through the hole into the filler. Now I'm going to nip out and get the second reading. You don't need to see me do that, but I'll come back in here and we'll discharge it into the jar. So I'll be with you in a couple of minutes. Right, so I'm back now with the second 100ml. This has been taken more or less off the top of the tank, not quite off the top, but almost. So we'll get that into the mix. I'm going to do a good old shake up, and then we'll leave it to settle, and that'll give me some idea visually of how the tank actually is, the fuel in the tank, should I say. Again, taking great care not to have any discharge of diesel into the water of the marina. I wouldn't want to do that. Nice tight lid on, and I'll set that on one side, and we'll come back to that in about an hour after I've put the cleat on the roof and tidied my tools away, and we'll just see how that's settled, and if it does clear out, or whether it's that's the condition of the fuel throughout the tank. Right, because I'm working on the very edge of the roof, I don't know whether the camera's going to pick up what I'm doing, but I've put a fair amount of sealant on the underside, mainly around the holes, but towards the back, because as it goes over the edge there's going to be a slight gap. So I'll install it and then I'll show you the end result once I've cleaned everything up. Put the 3 screws in loose, and I can have a bit of movement just to line up if I've got anything slightly wrong. But at the moment, I think, don't speak too soon, I might be alright. Just need to go and get a posi drive screwdriver, because the last ones are a flathead. I think it's just, yeah, it's going to be too big to get these in. Come back to you in a sec. Does help if you have the right screwdriver. So I think they're all biting into the holes that I've tapped, which is a good sign. That one definitely is. It's just a case of taking them down slowly and evenly, just in case you don't want to get anything damaged at this point. Just take your time. And the sealant is just starting to squeeze out, so that'll do a good job. If it rains, it's not going to get any water around the threads of the screws that I'm putting in. Yeah, I think that's going to be okay. So let's go ahead and tighten these up. Now the screws are marine grade stainless, so again we shouldn't have any issues with them rotting. This one's a bit tight going in, so I'm just hoping it's not going to cause me any issues right at the end. So I'm going to get him right down and then I can relax a bit. Yeah, it's a bit tight, but it's going in. And to be fair, I'd soon have them tight than have them loosely fitting, because once these are on, they shouldn't be going anywhere. Yeah, that's biting lovely. I can see the sealant, so it's just about home where it needs to be. That's one there. Just another couple of turns. That's it. I've took a measurement off this side, so when I come to do the starboard side, when you look across the boat, they will actually be in line with each other. I like things to be symmetrical where possible. Just get this bit of sealant off. Do it now and it won't be a problem in the future for me. You don't need a lot, it's just a bit just to keep the damp from getting in them screws around the threads. Right, let me just take you off that stand and I'll show you how it looks from the side. So there we have the rope on our centre line mounting point, and then as you come to the side of the boat, the rope will come across the roof, down through the cleat, and then it'll be able to be drawn over the side. And you can see now the reason why there's that ledge there. It's just to stop the rope rubbing, as it would do on here if this wasn't on part of the cleat. So yeah, I'm happy with that. Another job done. And then on Sunday I shall get I'll put the step on, as you can see on the front. I'll put the other cleat and the 2 steps on the starboard side. Time for a cup of coffee. And just look at that, eh? A meal in a bowl. Despite being busy refitting out a narrowboat that they recently bought, Tim and his lovely wife, Paula, well mainly Paula because Tim's no good at cooking, has made this, and it's bacon and rice soup. But I've put it through the microwave twice, so it's become more like a meal than a soup, and you know, it smells absolutely gorgeous. And having been outside in the miserable weather today, sorting the little jobs I had to do on the outside, it's very welcome. Thank you, Paula, and thank you, Tim, off a narrowboat Susie Q. For 1 hour. Right, this has been stood now an hour. So I think what I'm going to do, I'm going to take Misty for a walk. I'm going to have another look at this around 3:30. That'll be another couple of hours time, just over, and see if it's any clearer. It's not looking very promising at this stage. Okay. Go. Go. Misty. Go. Cider of the week. Well, good evening and welcome to this week's Cider of the Week. And what a week! It's gone really quick. It's a week ago tomorrow that I went to Crick show, and I was excited about going there. And even though it was a little bit disappointing, I'm still glad I went. And just before I do Cider of the Week, I just need to say 3 big thank yous. First and foremost to John and Deb, who's my immediate next door neighbour. They've recently moved in next to me, for the beautiful homemade bread which I believe John made. Deb dropped it off and I'd arranged to cook a dinner that night, and I have to admit I unwrapped it and it was lovely crusty bread, and I just sat and ate the whole lot with a pack of butter. Not the whole pack of butter, but almost the whole pack of butter. Thank you, as you've seen in the vlog, to Tim and Paula for yet again another tasty meal. I'm sure people on this pontoon think I don't eat. And above all, I'd like to say thank you to Callum, who's next but one neighbour, who this week again has come to the front and been absolutely marvellous. He took me to B&Q with his truck, as you'll have seen in the video, so I could get a banister rail which I'm going to paint, and I'm going to use as my what I call heavy duty barge pole. Whilst I was fitting the cleat the other night on the side of the boat, bless him, he brought me the most fantastic bacon cob. He'll make somebody a lovely wife, he will. And I happened to mention on the forum the other night that what was the best thing for lower back pain which I've been suffering this week, and somebody said get ibuprofen, and I said well I've only got one, but I've got plenty of paracetamol. And bless him, next night he comes toggling up the pontoon with a packet of ibuprofen painkillers for me. I have got such fantastic neighbours, they are brilliant. And whilst I'm on the subject of thanking Callum, I need to thank him yet again for this week's Cider of the Week. This is Brothers Parma Violet, and on the way back from fetching my banister rail, which is going to be my barge pole, we called in at a shop and Callum nipped in to get himself a bottle of pop and brought out this bottle of Parma Violet cider. And what a chap. I said that's going to be this week's Cider of the Week, so I'm going to crack it open. I just know it's Brothers cider, so I'm going to enjoy it. I haven't had one yet, I don't. And in true tradition, on the back their description is Parma Violet flavoured cider. Now, forgive me for being a bit sceptical, but I think when you read the label on the front you'd have guessed that. And it just says, as with all their ciders, served over ice. Well, as you know, I put mine in the ice box because I don't like the ice melting and making it into a weak flavoured cider. So, Cider of the Week, let's have a taste. Ooh, that's got a funny smell. It doesn't smell like Parma Violet. Wow. I'm not going to put a lot in, just in, as I always say, just in case I don't like it. Oh, it's got a Parma Violet colour. You can see that, look. Got a nice colour. Plenty of bubbles as you always get with Brothers. Now, I thought Parma Violet would smell like Parma Violet sweets. It doesn't. It's got quite of a sour smell. Plenty of fizz. %, as with all their ciders. And it is an English cider, but I'm going to have to say I think this is the first Brothers cider I'm not so sure about. Well, considering it's advertised as Parma Violet, I don't think they've hit the spot with this one. I'm not exactly crazy about it. You know, I usually say with the Brothers ciders, particularly all the ones I've had, it tastes like kids' pop. Well, I suppose, yeah, this does, but it hasn't got that. It hasn't got that toffee shop, or as some people around the world will call them sweet shops. We call them toffee shops. It hasn't got that sweet shop kind of taste that you'd expect when it's advertised as being a Parma Violet flavour. I don't think it's one of them ciders you'd want with a meal, that's for sure. I think you'd be tempted just to have it as a sociable evening drink. Would I be buying them to put in my fridge? If I'm honest, no. I don't think I'd rush out and buy it. It's lacking a bit of depth in the flavour. It's got a flavour, but it's not packing any kind of punch. It's very wishy-washy, and definitely doesn't smell Parma Violet. So unless I've got a bad bottle, I don't think you've got this one right, Brothers. Not for me, anyway. Not for me. That doesn't mean you shouldn't go out and buy a bottle. I know bottles of this size, because this is a gift, I haven't got an accurate price. But I know bottles at this price, bottles of this size, which is 500ml, from Brothers is normally around the £2.60, £2.69. You can buy the smaller bottles that I've reviewed earlier, and I don't know whether they've done that in a Parma Violet in that size. I think that's about 225ml. If they do, I would suggest you buy a smaller bottle, because I don't think you're going to like it. I'm going to put this one in the fridge with the lid back on it, and I'll force myself to drink it, Callum. I'm ever so sorry, mate. It's just not your fault, it's just not a nice cider. Where would I rank it? It's not as bad as last week's gooseberry and elderflower, but it's really not much better. So I'm going to give it a 6.5, which sounds a bit harsh, considering I like all Brothers ciders, except this one. So, not on a flat note, it's not, don't let me put you off, because you might like it. I will catch up with you next week. It's been a busy week doing jobs on the boat, which I wasn't anticipating, because I've been at work and I haven't had as many days off. My fuel situation is something I've got to look into. I'm going to change the fuel filter on Sunday. I'm going to start running Freedom to burn off this fuel. I did crawl in the engine bay the other night just to have a quick look at what size the tank was, because one of the engineers asked me, and I said I've no idea, and he said it's stamped on your tank. So I climbed in the engine bay with a flashlight, and yes, it was right, there's a certification tag, metal tag on the tank, which informs me I've got a massive 720 litre tank, which is 190 gallon, which is, when full, will be about 630 pounds in fuel and about 3/4 of a tonne in weight. And I've got a quarter of a tank now, so I'm going to be sitting somewhere around about 160, 170 litres of this fuel. Now, I've been assured by 1 or 2 engineers that the best thing to do is just burn it. So I'm going to start running the engine regularly just to get rid of it. because it would cost a fortune to have it all sucked out and disposed of safely. And they're of the opinion that it's not the best fuel, obviously, but it's not going to do any major harm. There's no debris in it to block the system. So, busy week ahead trying to sort that one out. So for now, it's cheers from me. Thank you for watching. Please subscribe, give us a thumbs up, and I'll catch up with you next week. So from Misty and Me, ta-da.